Oh, excuse me. I'm ready for about. I'm ready for what's going to happen. Yes, basically, my body is ready. All right, folks. Deck tech in just a second. Something on Twitch's back end is kind of wonky right now, and it keeps reverting my stream title, and I'm trying to figure out what's happening with that. But we're going to be playing Pox. All right, it has finally kept my stream title name. I had to redo it like 3 times. Yeah, as far as bang for your buck, this is probably going to be $12 of excellent entertainment, one way or another. All right, hello everyone. My name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, a site for legacy death and taxes. And today, rather than a mono white deck, we're playing a mono black deck. We are playing Pox. And we even have big daddy Pox in this decks. None of this like small Pox stuff. We've got the real thing in here too. Hey, welcome. I'm glad you got to catch the stream live for the first time. You know, congrats and welcome. And I'm ready. My body is ready. I'm prepared for some losses. I'm prepared for some long games. I've got some tea. Hey, I need help. What do I side out versus Loam? In all seriousness, that matchup's like super hard to sideboard for, and you kind of have to pick a strategy that you want to do and then go for it, because most of your cards are fine in the matchup and most of your sideboard cards are fine. So, good luck. On a D&T day, if you want to ask me that question, I'd be more willing to answer it in detail, but it's Pox time. All right, so tonight we're playing with Pox. So for anyone not familiar with the strategy, we are a control deck, but sort of a wonky sort of control deck because we're attacking from a few different angles. So to group these cards into something that resembles meaningful piles, we have some discard spells. I'm going to need more piles. We have some removal spells, and Collective Brutality kind of overlaps. We have some land destruction spells, and again, Smallpox kind of overlaps with these two as well. And then we have a handful of Planeswalkers to go and win the game. So we're essentially a land and hand disruption control deck. That's the game plan. We want to make the game go really long, and we want to invalidate opponents' primary game plans. So how do we actually win? Pox actually usually does not win games of Magic. Instead, your opponents concede before you actually win. That's the nice thing about playing this deck, is that a lot of times your opponents get frustrated and they concede long before they are truly dead. But if your opponent makes you play it out, your plan is to beat them to death with a 2/2 land, to curse scroll them to death over many, many turns, to Liliana ultimate them until they concede, or to Liliana Last Hope Emblem. Other than that, you have 1 Bloodghast and 1 Nether Spirit as real creatures. Dr. Bill, thank you very much for your continued support. I saw your Facebook message right before I started streaming, and I will touch base with that person. I think that's a great idea. So we also have a small Crucible of Worlds engine in this deck to recur Wastelands and our primary win conditions, although the Cabal Pits that are here are also recurable removal. As far as the sideboard goes, we have, I think, 6. We have 6 very early graveyard hate cards we can go towards, 3 additional removal spells, 2 things that muck with artifacts and permanents, and then 4 Dark Confidants. I don't love this Null Rod that's in the sideboard because one of the ways that I win is Curse Scroll, and that, like, shutting that off is kind of, like, really a big deal. But in practice, I guess most of the time when you would sideboard in Null Rod, you might be sideboarding out Curse Scroll, so maybe it's fine. Like, I haven't done the math to, like, think about, like, when those are going to be coming in and when those are coming out and whatnot. So I don't know how bad of a non-bow that actually is. But it's something I'm thinking about. It also stops your Mishra's Factories from pumping other Mishra's Factories. So there's that, too. So this is a donation deck list. This is from Merja in the chat. I'm looking forward to this, but not necessarily for success reasons. I think this is a stream where we're going to get some great clips. You're going to have some great, like, Phil swearing at the screen moments, and some of our opponents are probably going to get pretty salty, and we'll probably, like, randomly blow some people out with absurd Hymn to Turox. This is a deck that I would never play at a real tournament in my right mind. But would I show up to, like, a Thursday night casual event bringing Pox just to, like, reap some misery in the world? Absolutely. You bet I would. What are you side Bob in against? Like, Bob can come in against a whole bunch of stuff. Like, it's good against control decks because it just draws you cards. It's good against combo deck because it draws you into your hate cards. It's also really good in the sideboard games when your opponent, like, boards out, like, literally all of their removal because you don't really have dudes. And then you just, like, surprise, it's Bob on turn 1 off of Dark Ritual, protected by Inquisition. I mean, almost making day 2 with Pox means that you were positive with Pox at a real event. Like, that's great. So, before I start this league, I just want to flash a deck list. I set my next donation goal, and I'm 2 of the 3 donation deck lists towards it already, but I saw this sweet D&T build that I wanted to try out. Courtesy of Egget. So this is what I've set at my next donation goal. It's a black-white D&T list featuring main deck Bob, Combal, and Orzhov Pontiff, as well as another Pontiff in the sideboard, and some surgical extractions that you could reasonably pay some mana for. So I thought this was sort of a neat build, and it would be good to just, like, highlight a different sort of D&T on stream. Between this stream and last stream, I got a donation for the Antiquity Wars. So that will happen sometime soon. That'll probably be next Monday's stream. I'm not 100% sure yet. I haven't, like, thought about the schedule. Saturday will be Tribal Wizards, though. I've got the day off tomorrow, so tomorrow I'm going to brew a Tribal Wizards deck. I think it's going to be, like, an Esper control deck with, like, Bobs, Snapcasters, Meddling Mage, Vendilion Click, maybe Venser. So I think it's going to feel a lot like the Tainted Pact deck that I played, but with more wizards and more you know, copies of cards. Although I'm not 100% sure yet. I might end up playing like 3 or 4 color Vile Wizards as well. I don't know. That's one of those things I'm gonna have to like sit down and build a deck list, which I usually don't have to do. Usually I can find them. Finding a wizard tribal deck list is harder. Let's battle. I'm excited. I have the correct mindset for tonight, which is someone else is paying for entertainment, and I'm happy to provide it. And if we catch this one, I'm going to be super happy. Like, my goal for the night is to 3-2. 60% with this deck, I would feel absolutely stellar with that. Especially since I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, chat. I didn't quite get everything ready to go before the stream. It's about 90% of the way there. So my opponent may play lands. They have a finish on lands. Which was from 2 months ago. This is a hand that I'm definitely going to keep in the dark. Like, I have turn 1 Inquisition, or turn 1 Curse Scroll. I have a turn 3 Planeswalker. Hopefully my opponent's hand is kind of soft to Inquisition. Oh boy! It's Goblin Friends! The good news is my opponent's hand is not great. The bad news is, the first time they, like, resolve a Goblin Ringleader, I feel like I just lose the game. I'm going to take Goblin Cratermaker here, because it's their earliest play, and it's the play that will, like, muck up with my Curse Scroll, which will be a big way that I can get into this game and, like, stay in it. Alright, so my opponent has this Wasteland. They may or may not be willing to Wasteland me. I'm not willing to Smallpox. I'm going to try to get to 3 to Lily last. So I'm going to go ahead and play a Curse Scroll. If my opponent wastes me, so be it, but I really need my second black source here. My opponent's also incentivized to not waste me, unless they get, like, a Vial. Exhibit A, opponent drawing Vial. That's super bad for us on so many levels. This, however, is super good for us. Yeah, drawing that means that I can, like, start Lily plussing and hope to win this game with a Lily ultimate. The issue is this Goblin War Chief is going to try to break my balls with its haste damage. Alright, so I'm looking to wiggle myself into a situation where I can get down to just, like, the card that I'm drawing every turn in order to go and Curse Scroll and, like, just pick off whatever my opponent's playing. That's an awkward draw. So I could cast Smallpox, just, like, destroy one of my opponent's lands, sacrifice my Urborg, discard my Fatal Push, play my Urborg. I kind of want to keep them off of a land so that they can't just Goblin War Chief, but it might be correct to just hold this until they have a creature. Alright, so if I just hold that, then I'll just pass the turn. Alright, that's fair. Keeping this Urborg around can also allow me to legend rule my own Urborg in order to get Revolt for Fatal Push if I need to do that. Ugh. That's real awkward, chat. That's real awkward. So I can cast Smallpox, make my opponent sacrifice a creature, which is probably this. If they had another creature, they just would have dialed it in so that they could attack with it as well. But I don't really know that I want to get rid of my lands. I mean, I think I... I think I just push this turn, plus my Lily on nothing, and then pass, just kind of hoping to draw another land, and I want to keep this Smallpox around as my one card in hand for Curse Scroll. This is the turn where everything can fall apart. If my opponent has drawn a ringleader, we're probably pretty dead. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that land being Urborg was just brutal. So I can Smallpox away one of these, sacrifice an Urborg, discard a Curse Scroll, play an Urborg out. I'm convinced I'm dead here. Opponent currently has a Gem Palm Incinerator that they can attack in with. That's their last card there. Maybe opponent will draw lands for the rest of the game. Then I could maybe win. Port's brutal. Port's absolutely brutal. Alright, the good news is that I can start curse scrolling away goblins. The bad news is I'm living in a constant state of fear. Wow, opponent just let me do my thing. So I guess actually, in order to keep this Liliana around, I should curse scroll my opponent's Goblin War Chief on their turn. And then on my turn, I can Liliana Edict or curse scroll. Alright, let's see if I can get any information about their deck. No, that's all stuff that I know they have. So now, this has haste on its own, so I'm just dead on board. Womp womp. Alright, so I want these Knight of Souls Betrayals. I want this Toxic Deluge. Pithing Needle and Null Rod for Aether Vial are considerations. Smallpox seems pretty awkward against an Aether Vial deck that's also playing a bunch of, like, expendable creatures. So it's super bad to, like, Smallpox away something like Goblin Matron, or even worse, like Mog War Marshal. So I feel like some number of the Smallpoxes are going to go. And I feel like some of the Sinkholes might be mediocre as well. Unfortunately, I think like the way that we can win a lot of these games is by like Liliana Last Hope, and we had that last time and it wasn't good enough. Alright, so trim to him. What else? Is it like these? Is it some number of the Smallpox? Hello, hello, and welcome. My gut feeling is that these aren't great, but I guess it's really good against like the Goblin Lackey starts. Cut to Dark Rits. Okay. Then what? Yeah. Cut Big Pox. Oh, yeah. I forgot this one was running Big Pox. That's pretty bad. Alright, yeah. So I guess I can keep Smallpox to just, like, stop some number of times that I just get got by a Goblin Lackey. I guess that's reasonable. Well, I'm going to keep this hand, and I'm going to produce a Liliana of the Veil on turn 1 and make my opponent deal with it. And I actually think I'll do that. My opponent probably wouldn't waste me regardless, but I guess I shouldn't give them the option to, because like I'm going to sinkhole their land on turn 2. I have a pretty insane curve. Like, a curve of, like, turn 1 Lily, turn 2 Sinkhole, turn 3 Smallpox is disgusting. Yeah, we've got... I'm just gonna drink some tea. Goblin Lackey, you say? It would be a shame if something happened to him and his family. So now I'm at the point where I can't really do things. This Pithing Needle was backbreaking. Well, my opponent also cannot do things. So that's good. I guess I don't want to Fatal Push this, because if I draw a land, I really just want to cast my Smallpox and get huge value. And if I don't draw a land, I can just Fatal Push for the same effect. It's really a shame that I can't just, like, take that artifact off the battlefield in any capacity. The good news is that my suffering, one way or another, will end quickly, because I get to F6 through a lot of my turns. I think if you're playing Pox, you don't get caught up too much in the idea of playing the best. But a lot of Pox decks end up splashing. And they splash specifically for the card Life from the Loam. That's about, like, the only card you would want that you don't really have access to. Okay, yeah, like, having access to something like Abrupt Decay is pretty big. Take some goodies out of my opponent's hand. Ooh! Ooh! That's great! Curse Scroll's safe. Yeah, I've blown up a lot of my opponent's lands. I guess I'm going to need to stop on my turn now because I'm going to get ported. But if my opponent ports me, I just, like, Curse Scroll them, so it's whatever. Heh 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 heh. So I can play my Wasteland. I will just Wasteland my opponent. They'll tap one of my lands in response, and I'll Curse Scroll them. Alright, our win condition is online, ladies and gentlemen. We've got him in 8 more turns. Woo! Woo! Haha. I guess that's cool. I'm gonna play my own Pithing Needle. I know my opponent has Rashadan Pork on board that I could shut off because it can, like, slow down my clock, but I don't think I care too much about that. I think the way that they can get back into this game is by drawing an Aether Vial and getting just the ability to go far past my control capacities. Alright, and the opponent is now done with me. So Strategic Hamlet, to a certain extent, I want to get rid of cards in my hand to keep Curse Scroll in mind. So that's a reason to just play it out preemptively. Aether Vial is a good Magic card. People should build decks around that. Oh, boy. This Aether Vial is going to destroy me. I could have potentially been fine if I was on the play, but not on the draw here. I'm going to take the Lackey so this doesn't get out of control so quickly, but this is going to be rough. Real rough. Actually, everything got a lot better. Please don't have drawn another Lackey. Sweet. Yeah, that was like the best possible thing I could have done here. So my opponent gets to play these Mog War Marshals, and they're a little bit annoying. Actually, no, they're fine. Literally do not care about it anymore. So I can sinkhole this. I can wasteland my opponent, take them off both of their lands, and strand all of these cards in their hand. That is disgusting. This is bullying. At least I'm pretty sure it's bullying. This is probably what they would refer to as cyberbullying, specifically. We're gonna get him, chat. We're gonna get him. I mean, we're one turn away from like ultimate oppression. So I'll just play out Swamp this turn so that I can't get wasted. If my opponent draws a port, they can keep me off of the Knight of Souls Betrayal for a turn. No, I'm picking on little red men. We are equal opportunity haters on this channel. Oh man, it's happening. It's happening. And now I'm gonna have like Curse Scroll and Innocent Blood online to just pick away some of this sort of stuff. That's strong. Oh, oh, jeez. So I could have 6 mana. So I could go like Dark Writ, Lily, plus discard Innocent Blood, Curse Scroll my opponent. Or I can just like play Lily and discard Dark Writ, which is probably fine. It's probably moot at this point. I'm going to keep the Innocent Blood. I don't think I'm killing my opponent, like, super quickly anyway. The goal is to whittle them down. And morale's probably in the tank as is. Yeah, opponent will concede before I kill them. That's the plan with Pox. Is you don't play out the games. You just, like, obliterate enough of the hope that your opponent concedes. And in that capacity, this might be more of a bully deck than D&T, because you get to, like, just force them into concessions, or you make them play through utter misery. I feel like D&T is just, like, regular misery. When you're on the wrong side of Pox, and Pox is doing its things, it's bad. You hope we get match versus D&T, and then draw Knight of Souls Betrayal, and then stream just loses their minds. So Merja was the one who donated for this deck, and he said that he cut chains from the deck list because it wasn't hateful enough. It wasn't a hard enough lock piece. Alright. The Lion Lorenzen. Alright. I don't know what they're playing. This is maybe fine. I'm gonna keep it. I have a turn to him. That's a pretty sick play against a lot of decks. So Hellclan, Elves. We're 2 out of 3 donations towards Egget's Black-White D&T stream. I'm going to play with his deck list. We have already hit the goal for a stream with Cyrus CG on Ant. So we'll have an Ant stream in the not-too-distant future. All right. I don't have matchup experience to know whether I'm supposed to just, like, 100% snap off this Innocent Blood or whether I'm supposed to him my opponent and try to, like, get him in the hamstrings. I think I'm supposed to him and then play Big Daddy Pox. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. This is a better lucky than good play. Let's see if we can just keep my... I hope they needed those. We are a skilled magician, chat. All right, opponent. Play out a bunch of elves for me, would you? Well, that is a good way to recover from what I've got going on here. So what happens if I cast Pox? So this is a third, right? So I would sacrifice 1 land, my opponent would sack a land, my opponent would sack 1 creature because they probably bounce Elvish Visionary. And then they discard 2 cards. So they would lose Forest, Nettle Sentinel, 2 cards in hand that are not this Elvish Visionary that they're going to bounce. I don't know that I'm actually supposed to Pox this turn. We have Knight of Souls Betrayal on the board. Alright, so maybe I don't... Maybe they don't bounce, and so instead they'll lose Forest, lose Nettle Sentinel, lose 1 card. It may be better for me to try to gimp my opponent here and, like, take out this Gaia's Cradle so that they can't produce a bunch of mana. They might be Mana Light. I hymned them and took 2 lands. If I take another land here, like, if I take their good land here, then next turn if I draw another land, I can Pox. So, for people asking questions about the deck list, if you take a look at the Cardboard Live extension on screen, click on the cards on the left-hand side, and it will pop up the deck list. I think this Wasteland line has the potential to put me a bit further ahead. So I think I'm going to take it. Yeah, and I hit another mana source. I am somewhat reliant on drawing another land, though, in order for this to be, like, real good. If I don't draw a land, I just, like, Innocent Blood away probably my opponent's Nettle Sentinel if they don't do anything else. And now I can just box. Opponent reads Pox. Alright, we'll discard Nether Spirit just for value. And then I'll sacrifice my Wasteland because it's colorless. I forgot the part about losing a third of my life. That part's actually kind of scary. Oh, you're right, I can lose the basic because of Urborg. Good call, good call. So my opponent still has this combo, but I'm going to break it up with either Innocent Blood or Liliana, or both. So we actually might be... Ooh. We actually might be pretty close to stabilizing. So I can Wasteland this Dryad Arbor, and then Innocent Blood away one of my opponent's creatures, and then I have the board, like, handled. Like, this makes us sack our Nether Spirit, but that, like, literally does not matter. It comes back. Best draw off the top would be Dark Ritual. Hmm. I don't think I want to attack with this. So one thing I'm going to have to, like, keep in mind is, like, Nether Spirit only returns if it's the only creature card in your graveyard. So I'm going to have to, like, keep Bloodghast's ability in mind. So this is a free attack because if my opponent blocks, then I get to go and just bring it back with the Swamp. So I'll make my opponent sacrifice a creature here. And then if they attack in with their team, or at least two people, I guess, which is their team now, in order to get there with Lily, then, like, Nether Spirit gets to eat another creature and effectively deny them some mana off of Cradle. And then I just have, like, another Liliana Edict right around the corner. Oh, sweet. Ox is your pet deck? Well, I'm glad. I hope you're going to enjoy this tonight. I'm going to 100% take out the Findhorn Elves. It produces mana. So I have the same situation like as with last turn, where the Bloodghast attack is free since I have Landfall. It also can't block, so that motivates me to attack. And I probably just want to hold this land for Bloodghast reasons. Fox is great in our hearts. It always has been. Although, I guess maybe if I draw a follow-up land, then it's sort of awkward. Do like Liliana Plus. Yeah. But I guess I can attack with both creatures now. So I attack with both. Then I plus, get rid of an Urborg. My opponent can't kill Lily. Yeah. Now I'll discard the redundant Urborg. My opponent discards a Scavenging Ooze. And do I want to play this land? Still probably no. I think the upside of having a land in hand, if my opponent just plays out more blockers, is high. Alright. And my opponent concedes. So we're winners. So I know I want this. And I know I want this. I actually might even want, like, Pithing Needle just to stop Wirewood Symbiote, because that card is pretty obnoxious. This is a Dark Confidant matchup. Okay. I mean, I'm basically going to allow you to tell me how to sideboard, because, well, I have no idea what I'm doing. Alright, cut Ghast and Spirit. Okay. Trim the scroll. Minus Big Pox. To him. Two Ritz. Yeah. Like, we kind of mised with him this game, but I can see it, generally speaking, being kind of awkward versus Elves. They can both dump their hand quickly and rebuild with, like, the Elvish Visionary Wirewood Symbiote combo. So yeah, that's certainly awkward. So just, like, while we're waiting here, one thing that's really important to note is that sometimes when you play a deck that's kind of off the wall like Pox, it is really hard to conceptualize how you should be sideboarding if you've never played the deck. Crucible lets me recur Cabal Pit, which is pretty big game. Alright, so I have turn 1 removal spell. into turn 3 removal spell into eventually Knight of Soul's Betrayal. So this hand is pretty insane. I'm basically just hoping to draw lands so that I can get to Knight of Soul's Betrayal. That's going to be a borderline game-winning card on its own. Ooh! Ooh! Alright, so my next question is, like, do I want to try to escalate this to snipe an instant or sorcery as well? The answer is probably yes. Like, they could have Glimpse, Green Sun, Natural Order, or even something like Abrupt Decay. I think I want to do that. I think I'll probably... What? Ranger Pitch Knight? I think this is how I'm winning this game. This would be like the last card I would possibly want to discard. In my opinion, you know, as someone who doesn't play this deck, I know I'm 2 lands off of it, but this is like a match-ending power level card. I see the argument, and I'm going to ignore it. Not because I think you're wrong, but because I'm just not willing to discard this card given its power level in the matchup. And I also think that I might not particularly have time to cast this Inquisition. Or maybe this Smallpox. Like, if I draw a land, then my next play is Lily. Ideally, if I go land, it's Lily into Knight of Soul's Betrayal. I think I'm going to discard Smallpox, with my plan being, let's curve Lily into Knights of Soul's Betrayal and just eliminate all outs. Oh boy. So I'll take a Natural Order. Opponent has no castable cards in their hand currently. So that's good. That means I probably have time. If they top deck a land, it's rough because they get to play Elvish Visionary, which gets them closer to the follow-up lands, and when they get to 4 mana, I will die. Ooh. Hello. So I kill Birchlore Ranger so they can't produce more mana with it. And now life's pretty good. Neat. Oh yeah, we're in full-on bully mode. So now I need to think about whether or not I actually want to cast Smallpox. It blows up their land. I think I just Inquisition them, take that Elvish Visionary, and then hope to get my next land for Knight of Souls Betrayal. Ooh, interesting. They had Wirewood Symbiote and they did not play it out. Oh, I guess that's because of Liliana. I really just don't want them to draw cards. Like, the Wirewood Symbiote doesn't actually do anything right now. So I'm going to take Elvish Visionary. Leave them with these 3 cards. That sounds kind of sexy. We're on the Nightline. Sounds like we're on the news. Yeah! So I'm going to do this on this Nettle Sentinel first before playing this, just in case they have some, like, Assassin's Trophy type card. And now we have 3 turns to wait until we just get a Liliana emblem and we close out the game in that capacity. Note that my opponent can still have something like Reclamation Sage in order to clear this. And we just win. So chat, you remember that part where I said I'd be happy if we 3-2? We are on track to 3-2. Now I just have to get one of the 3 remaining matches. And I'm going to get there. I'm gonna cash with pots. Maybe we'll even do better than min cash. I'm not gonna get my hopes up yet. But, I'm excited. Confirmed 0-3 Jinx. 3-2 Dreams still alive. Thank you for your support, chat. I appreciate it. Alright, I'm gonna get some more tea, and then I'm gonna go into the next round. I will be right back. It'll be like 30 seconds. Serious question, what tea am I drinking? I am drinking some sort of green tea. I can't get any more specific than that because it's tea that's from, I think it was Taiwan, that someone gave me as a gift, and so I can't actually read the label. So I don't know exactly, but it's good. Generally speaking, though, I really enjoy tea in like the fall and winter. I'm allergic to chocolate, so I can't do like the hot chocolate that a lot of people enjoy. So it's tea for me instead. Hmm. This is caffeinated. Well, I've clearly made a mistake then. So other fun Phil fact: I drink almost no caffeine. I've more or less cut it out of my life, so I don't do coffee at all. Unless I'm just like randomly out at a restaurant, I don't order things with caffeine in it most of the time. So I just don't. I have a lot of trouble sleeping if I have caffeine. So this is caffeinated. Rip me. But I don't have to work tomorrow because we're gonna get like freezing rain. Captain QC, the real kicker is that I became allergic around 4th grade Halloween. We're good at winning die rolls tonight. That's important. Well, this hand is sweet. I accept the fact that I only have one hand. Or one land. Chat, you don't need to tell me that. However, what you don't realize is that Dark Ritual is a sweet magic card! What the fuck? Hold on, I have to read, like, all of my opponent's cards. How does Madness work? Is it, like, if they discard it, or is it, like, if it's discarded at all? An alternate cost if the card is discarded. Okay. Well, this is awkward. I'm going to hit the Planeswalkers. Planeswalkers are, like, unbeatable. And then I'm going to hope that I don't make them get a free 1/1. Fuck! They got me. They got me. Alright. And I got Goose, too. Alright, so this is going... You've got Yavimaya Coast in their deck? Shame. So I really want to Innocent of Blood away Nimble Mongoose. That one's harder to kill. I can Collective Brutality discard, or like kill this, make them discard their Quiet Speculation. I don't know exactly what that card is going to do, but I assume it effectively is going to be like draw 3 cards. Yeah, so I can't kill this. It has Shroud, so I'm gonna need to Innocent Blood that away. The issue being, like, they're just going to play Werebear next turn. What is Roar of the Worm? Oh, with a U. Flashback for 4 mana, create a 6/6 worm. Oh, yeah, I need to deal with that. No, I think I'm gonna need to discard my Curse Scroll and try to, like, Innocent Blood away this. Ugh. Alright, so I'll do that and that. Cast, target opponent, target creature, pay, discard Curse Scroll. Alright, get Quiet Speculation, leave them with Yavimaya Coast and Werebear. Which I assume both are hitting play right now. I don't know that I want to Wasteland. If I Wasteland, I keep them off of 2-drops, potentially. I guess I'll do that. It's a little awkward if I draw, like, Liliana of the Veil specifically. What you got over there? Force of Will. Game is awkward because we hit this Root Walla on 1. Honor him. Really hoping to hit, like, Smallpox. Smallpox to get rid of this Mongoose, blow up a land. Seems sweet. Sharing the pain with the world. That's what streaming's all about. Right? Yes? Maybe? Who knows? Yeah. What's up, opponent? Yeah, holding the Wasteland to, like, keep them further away from Threshold is a very real thing. I can see that. But I've got to, like, presume that there's cantrips in my opponent's deck. Like, there just must be. Even though they don't have any yet. Opponent's deck got too spicy and he had to get a glass of milk. It's very possible. But it could be a she. I don't know. Don't know if 2D is a boy, girl, someone in between. Who knows? Could be a robot. Unclear. My opponent's probably European, because they said WC in chat, meaning water closet, referring to bathroom. Alright, sweet. So I've got a Lily. That's an answer to Mr. Mongoose. Rats. One, two, three, four, five, six. Awkward. So I don't actually think I want to cast this, because I think my opponent's actually pretty likely to discard their Force of Will in order to pump Wild Mongrel and turn on Threshold. So I think I'll just be taking away 2 of my life if I cast this Thoughtseize. What is this? Okay, it's Threshold Giant Growth on a land. Still not going to cast the Thoughtseize. I really think that my opponent should have pitched that Force on their turn. Like, they sneak 3 more damage in, which can be huge. Then again, I don't really think I can expect my opponent to play optimally in piloting a deck like this. Yeah, so I would just be dead if my opponent would have discarded that Force of Will. Including just, like, this turn as well. And my opponent has conceded the match. Okay. Let's focus on the positives here, folks. We're now undefeated with Pox, and we've played 3 rounds of Magic. Yeah, I'm going to assume that my opponent was dead on board, or not dead on board, was dead for prizes, and they were just, like, doing something nice. They wanted to play another game with their deck before they, like, returned it or whatever. So I think they were likely conceding just to be good guy or good girl 2D or good robot automaton, whatever. Yeah, I can see where like Wastelanding might have been wrong. Maybe they registered in a league instead of playing free games. That's possible. Yeah, that definitely seems like the sort of deck that you play around with in like the free tournament testing room. But it's a real rarity where I'm okay with playing a pain land in Legacy. Basically, I have to like want the colorless mana actively in order to do that. So like I played it in some of the Eldrazi splash builds or like Eldrazi and Taxes decks, but in just like a legitimate deck, there's very few reasons to just play a pain land like that. And they had multiple of them too, which is confusing. Like fetch lands are really good, like at like promoting threshold, which seems to be a major theme of their deck. I don't know. On to round 4. Guitar Army. I know I've played against this player recently. All right, they're playing Storm. So I'm going to mulligan. This does not produce black mana, so that's no good. This has 2 pieces of disruption and 1 dead card. It's got 3 lands. This is fine. Oh, Lily Last Hope. So this is a way to win the game, but I don't know that this is a card that I want to keep on top right now. Like, this is how certain I am that my opponent is on Ant. I'm very sure. So I think I actually want to bottom this. Ants. Not Tess. Ooh, opponent's hand is bad. So we leave them with Dark Ritual and 2 lands. So they have mana, but nothing to do with it. Oh man, did they just like naturally draw Infernal Tutor there? Because that would be ultimate daggers. Alright, so now they just get to go ad nauseum. That's a little frustrating. So his opponent played a land yet? No. So they have Lotus Petal land, LED, Cabal Ritual, Past in Flames, Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, Infernal Tutor, Tendrils. Yeah, I should be dead. Opponent duresses me for value. they're playing more quickly than I can just like keep up with some of the math off the top of my head, so I'm not just going to concede here. But I'm 99% sure that I'm dead. So yeah, that's Past in Flames for Cabal Writ, for Dark Writ, for kill. Alright, so Surgical and Extirpate seem fine. Bob's Find More Disruption seems fine. Null Rod seems pretty good. And actually, I guess I can sideboard like a whole lot of cards if I so desire. So sideboarding Fairy. I'm ready for advice because like these all seem like reasonable cards too to just give me outs to Goblins. So I'm sure that I want to cut Innocent Blood. Big Pox seems kind of medium. Full Transformation side, everything. Yeah. And by everything you mean not Pithing Needle, right? Just like Pithing Needle naming a land isn't good. But like sideboard, the other 14 seems fine. So I guess I go push out. All right, tell me what to start ripping from here. All right, Bloodghast, Nether Spirit out. All right, one scroll, Last Hope. Got about 30 seconds, by the way. Box. All right, I've got to pull some things here. This is slightly awkward. I think I need to mulligan this one. Like, Null Rod's very good, but if my opponent just goes like turn 1 discard spell and I don't rip a black source and they take this Null Rod, I don't have a turn 2 play. This hand sucks. Like, I guess I have Sinkhole for turn 2. And I guess I can rip, like, infinite amounts of discard spells off the top of the deck. Ugh. I don't think this is good enough. Man, this one is garbage as well. But I just don't think I want to go to 5. Or go to 4. Like, I'm going to keep something that has lands at this point. I'll bottom that, I guess, and just try to look for a natural discard spell. Or maybe it's fine, and I just, like, accept that taking away one of my opponent's lands and one of their cards is strong, and that I'll just, like, surgical away or extirpate away something that they discard very aggressively. The awkward thing is that, like, Liliana of the Veil is probably my way to win this. I'm going to bottom it. So I'm going to hope to go, like, rip him off the top, and then rip land, in that order. Yeah, so, like, I'd love to draw, like, a Thoughtseize, an Inquisition, so I can follow it up with, like, Surgical or Extirpate. Nope. So I'm going to hold up both of these instead of doing something like surgically extracting Ponder. Because the hope is that my opponent just kind of, like, goes for it, thinking I can't really have much. And that I will get to destroy, like, a Past in Flames based kill or something like that. It's happening. Oh man, this looks like a Past in Flames kill. Ooh, Adnaz. Alright, so I can let them start doing their Adnaz thing. I don't need to extract now. I can pretty easily do that later. I have Split Second, so I can muck with them. And leaving, like, Infernal Tutor in the deck, like, gives them the possibility of drawing them, which can make them lose more life. Yeah. So if they duress me, I'll surgically extract Brainstorm. Or actually, I can just, like, extirpate very safely. So at this exact moment, I am going to extirpate Infernal Tutor and leave Surgical Extraction up for something else. Although maybe I should cast Surgical Extraction on Brainstorm. No, that would give them like a free shuffle. I don't want to do that. Alright, so opponent has boarded essentially an Empty and an Echoing Truth and a second Past in Flames. Oh, Extirpate works differently than Surgical Extraction does, where it actually targets the first one for you. Neat. I guess I could have like extirpated Brainstorm and then surgicaled. Whatchamacallit? Infernal or the Tutor. Alright, so you want to duress me. That's fine. So that's going to take my surgical if I don't do anything. Essentially, they're going to get like a Ponder and or Brainstorm in order to like try to find what they're looking for. So since I can't cast at instant speed, I will go ahead and surgical the Ponder that's in their hand. They can Brainstorm in response to get a shuffle. That's fine. Yeah, an opponent has double preordained to try to get there at this point. Yeah. So more realistically, they have single preordain because they can only cast one this turn, but they can try again later. All right. So they cast one of these. I extracted one of those. Cast one of those. These are gone. LED's gone. Lotus Petal's gone. No, they have very few cards in their deck that matter at this point. Like it's basically Empty the Warrens and Tendrils. Like they're at 5 life. They need to find some goblins, or they need to like natural storm me out. Oh, that's an insane draw. That eliminates some of the possibility of an easy, like, Past in Flames for a whole bunch of mana and Storm. think those are gone, and that's gone. I more or less don't care about anything that they have in hand at this point. If I find a Bob, I can kill them in 3 hits. So I'm looking to draw a Bob, one of the 3 remaining lilies. Yeah, a factory would be great. Factory now kills in 2 hits. Four smallpox would indeed kill my opponent, yes. Opponent goes to 2. Alright. I don't think this is a Past in Flames kill. It can be a Past in Flames, make a lot of mana, and try to cantrip into something. Like, the Past in Flames has flashback, so they can try this sort of thing again if they miss with the Brainstorm. If they find the dark or the tendrils, I will just die, because they'll go like Dark Writ, Cabal Writ, kill me. I don't think my opponent should be casting Brainstorm. I think they should be casting Preordain. It doesn't matter if they just find it. But Preordain's so much better if they whiff. Alright, they just found it. It was 10, right? Yeah. Womp womp. Alright. On we go. On to the last round with Pox. Our heroes, we were defeated. We're 3-1. Hoping to take down one more. Turn this into a sweet 4-1. So thank you all for joining tonight for some Pox content. My name is Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, a site dedicated to legacy, death, and taxes. Tonight we're playing Pox as a donation deck list. Merja in the chat there donated to make this stream happen. If you're looking to support my channel, one of the ways that you can do so is doing a donation deck list like this one to see some sweet legacy content with something that otherwise you might not normally get to see. On Saturday, we'll be looking at some tribal wizards. Probably Esper Wizards, but I might change my mind there. For sometime next week, we have a donation for the Antiquity Wars, and queued up in the not-too-distant future, I'll have an Ant stream with Cyrus CG. I need to like schedule a time with Cyrus, but he's agreed to do it. Battle, 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 battle. I think my opponent plays Grixis Delver. Yeah, lots of finishes with Grixis Delver. So I'm on the draw. Is this fine? So I go turn 1, Urborg, Dark Ritual, and probably Smallpox if they just like play out a creature. And then I play that discard around days. This seems like the sort of hand where if this Dark Ritual doesn't resolve, I die. If I get wasted, I die. I guess like the Smallpox would be awkward because it would take away my only land. And similarly, like if I just go like Urborg, Dark Ritual, Lily, and that doesn't work, like I'll lose to Daze, I'll lose to Force. Like Daze, Force, just like Spell Pierce as well would beat me. I think I want a more stable hand. This qualifies as stable. Curse Scroll's great. I'll put that on the top. We might be playing against Miracles. In which case, that first hand would have been gas. Yeah, it's Miracles. All right. So what do I care the most about? Do I care about them resculpting their hand? Do I care about their card advantage? Basically, my entire hand sucks. I need to try to beat this Jace. I need to get this out of their hand. What lets me do that? I think it's close between Brainstorm and Predict. On their so at the end step, they can just cycle accumulated knowledge. Then they can go Portent into Predict and draw 2 cards. I'm going to take Brainstorm. If I take... There's also a possibility they could do, like, a bad Brainstorm, and they could just, like, fetch Tundra end of turn in order to, like, Brainstorm, like, put their worst card on top, and then predict it away. So I think it's actually best to do that. So I think I don't want this Wasteland in this match. So I'm going to play that one, intending to sacrifice it. Land destruction, pretty great against Miracles. I need to keep them off of 4 mana for Jace. If they get to Jace, it's over. Alright, so it's over. I have too many cards in hand right now for Curse Scroll to be a reliable way to take out Jace. So that's super unfortunate that they drew Force. Yeah, opponent immediately going into Fate Seal mode. You know, recognizing that Curse Scroll nugging Jace is rough. So I actually probably just want to cast Innocent Blood to get a card out of my hand in order to try to turn on Curse Scroll. That's so awkward. Alright. So I'm going to cast Innocent Blood for no value. And then I don't think I actually want to play Swamp. I think I want to play Wasteland because it's more likely that I'll draw another Swamp. So that if I continue to miss land drops, it's just better. Or like if I continue to just have lands put to the top of my library, it's better. All right, opponent is rolling the dice here. Got it. No, I think I'd rather take my 50-50 shot, and if I'm wrong, then I get like another 50-50 shot and push on my next turn. I think that's better. All right. So now I can kill that monk. I can safely play out a swamp. It's fine to do so. And then I can just hold up a Curse Scroll activation, keep the Jace in check. Boo! Yeah, oh no indeed. Now I'm like super dead to Jace. Cabal Pit, that's nice. I would basically need to draw a Planeswalker to get out of this, and that's super unlikely. Actually, no, Planeswalker's not even good enough at this point. I'd need, like, Factory and my opponent having absolutely nothing to interact with it. Yeah, okay. Alright, so what do I want? Bobs seem good. Pithing Needle for Jace seems good. Knights of Souls Betrayal for Monk tokens seems not unreasonable. It also shuts off Snapcaster Mage. So I could see that. So I see myself wanting to cut, like, push an innocent blood. Yeah, extirpate is not unreasonable. Okay. Like, do I want any extirpates here? Cut spirit. Okay. I'm cutting smallpox. Okay. This would leave me with another card. I'm bringing a smallpox back in. I'm out of time for sideboarding. Sorry. Well, that's what I did anyway. This hand's a little awkward. But I think I'm going to keep it. Like, I've turned one Inquisition, hopefully get something good and extirpate it. You said trim writ, not cut writs. So I trimmed. So I can take AK and extirpate it. I see Counterbalance as being a problematic card. My opponent can't really set up the Counterbalance right now, but it just like blind hitting 1s and 2s can be really bad. I'm actually of the opinion that I should take the Counterbalance and then let my opponent cast the first AK as a bad cycling card and then extirpate it at that point. I just don't think I can beat a Counterbalance. So I know my opponent has Spell Pierce. Am I willing to trade Curse Scroll for Spell Pierce? I think so. I think, like, I want to resolve this Liliana of the Veil in another turn or two. So I think that's an acceptable trade. It's also something that my opponent might just let resolve and then like use their EE for. And again, that's a fine trade. Like I think I'm fine with using Curse Scroll as an Inquisition. Why Bloodghast? It comes back a lot. Yeah, so to like answer more seriously, this deck just wants creatures that can come back, and Nether Spirit's the best one. But playing a second Nether Spirit isn't really good, right? Like that just doesn't synergize well. So you just want something that attacks from a slightly different angle. All right, drawing another Cursed Scroll is kind of sweet. I mean, drawing black land to like slam Liliana there would have been better, but you know, you get what you get. All right, we know 4 of my opponent's 5 cards. None of them are counterspells. Oh, snap into Pierce. That is pretty good. I don't love just like playing out Bloodghast, but I think it's my only real option. So now my opponent will cycle the accumulated knowledge end of turn, and I'll extirpate it aggressively on my turn. Alright, so opponent has naked, counterbalance. Less naked now. Alright, now I get to play the weird leveling game of like, what did my opponent leave on top? There are not many 3s. I think I want to slam a 3-drop. My opponent can't have Counterspell up. They don't have like Snapcast or Pierce up that they would have in later turns. I wish I had 1 more mana so that I could like extirpate, use that as the test spell, and then go from there. But I don't really have that luxury. All right, so it's the blind, and am I getting mised? No. Force of will on top. So now, this all is kind of awkward. I think I want to... Chuck Lily, Last Hope? I don't know, that seems great. Like, my opponent's somewhat likely to just try to ram this Snapcaster Mage out, and 3s are easier to resolve than 2s. I think I want to keep Extirpate as a way to, like, check this counterbalance, and I want to discard Smallpox. Like, I don't actually want to get rid of my lands right now, because, like, with Lily and Curse Scroll and other Lily, I think I'm going to be able to defend what I have very well. All right. So opponent's last 2 cards are Snapcaster Force. So if I just cast Lily Last Hope, it's just going to get forced. Is that fine? I'd prefer to whittle my hand size down before just, like, gambling on the scroll. All right, so if I just take these 2 cards from my opponent, I still do have just a lot of power in play. That might just be fine. All right, they reveal Ponder. So I think this, like, 100% has to get forced. Yeah. All right, so now they have Ponder. Interesting. Opponent doesn't shuffle. What does that mean? They don't shuffle and they don't play a card. Does that just mean this is getting Swords to Plowshare? Probably. Ooh, it just worked. So I'm going to do something that's a little weird. I'm just going to play this out, and I'm not going to hold up my Extirpate. Because my opponent might not think this card matters. All right, Snapcaster Mage. So they can brainstorm. Or actually, can they predict? So they pondered, yeah, so they should still know the last card down. Oh yeah, they can also just like pierce it. That's fine. But I'm sort of the opinion that they don't like super care about this Crucible, since I'm not showing the Wasteland. But with like Wasteland and Factory and Cabal Pit, it's a little obnoxious. So now they get the blind counterbalance flip. It is a ponder. All right, so now they ponder. So at this point, I probably just attack in, see if they block, and then make decisions from there. Containment Priest. I have 6 cards in graveyard. Alright, so that's fine. That can resolve. And then I can just Wasteland their Delta in order to put a 7th card in graveyard, then Cabal Pit it. Actually, yeah. So I still want to do this. Just to, like, get something off of the top for counterbalance. Oh, I Cardboard Live. Hello, hello. Welcome and thank you for the bits. That Containment Priest was almost a problem. Wilson, I caught a portion of your stream with Jarvis tonight. I'll look forward to watching the rest of that a little bit later. I had to start up myself, though. And congrats on the progress you're making with Cardboard Live. I'm very excited about it. Celestial Purge. All right, opponent. All right. So sooner or later, I need to just, like, cast this Extirpate. This seems like a good turn to do so. I think I want to Extirpate and Bob this turn. take these AKs out of their deck. Check with Bob. Actually, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, they chose not to reveal. So that could mean that they have a 1, or they don't have a 1 on a 2 on top. So I should just like draw step extirpate instead. All right, so they reveal Counterspell. So their hand is Council Judgment, Brainstorm. So I'll leave one of these in the deck because it's a very bad draw now. So they can have one. Just quick look. So 1 Entreat, 1 Council Judgment, 2 Mentors, 2 Jace, 1 Snapcaster, 1 Click left. Under normal circumstances, I'd take a little bit more time and like snapshot that and whatnot, but need to play towards the clock a little bit here. There's that random click. All right. Opponent did not draw step click me there. Opponent will flash in the click. I'll Cabal Pit it. I guess I could just like directly try to curse scroll my opponent out, but at the same time, doing it this way lets me both answer the click potentially and do some damage. So I think it's just better. Do I want to sinkhole my opponent's only white source? Probably. But it's possible I should just go for attack and curse scroll. Alright, my opponent shuffles, so they're getting a random card here. And my opponent has just conceded. They know that they are dead on board. Oh man, that's not the last game. I have another game. That's rough. Alright, so I want that other Dark Ritual out. Probably just want to bring another win condition in just for time. Actually, yeah. Like, with being this low on time, it's possible that I don't want to play Knights of Souls Betrayal just because it cuts my clock in half. My opponent does have Mentors, though. If I aggressively F6, I can be okay on time. A lot of it is, like, me thinking about this and, like, talking through lines and being unfamiliar with the deck. Like, even if I just had, like, 5 more games under my belt, I could double the speed at which I'm playing this deck. So I don't think I'm going to change anything about how I'm sideboarding. Yeah, I can also just lose faster as well, though. Like, if I just die in 2 minutes because I go, like, Dark Rit Lily, die, that is a problem. But there is a very real argument to just, like, board this out right now. Dark Ritual is just such a bad draw in any portion of the game that's not turn 1 or 2 or your opening hand. A Containment Priest my opponent has is also a little annoying. And my opponent has Click too. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna snap keep this hand. If I draw a land, this hand is just absolutely insane. This is the sort of hand that can get me there very quickly. This is good enough to get a force. Sinkhole would be good enough to get a force as well. Oh, wow, not good enough to get a force. Containment Priest, that's fine. No, I need to cast Sinkhole this turn, and my opponent has to force that, so I can try to keep their Jace off the table, and then their Jace is going to get on the table, and then I will lead with, like, double walkers after that. So which one of these ultimates faster? This ultimate's at 6. This ultimate's at 7. All right, so 9, 11, 13. Ultimate, so opponent beats me with that in 4 turns. This is 4, 5, 6. Ultimate, 4 turns. It's a little bit slower. That's unfortunate. Shoot. Neither one of these works. So what I'm going to do is play Lily Veil plus, and then I can, like, minus it, get Bob back, and then use Bob to pressure Jace. But it's just a better use of my mana. If I draw a land, I can both Lily minus and play Bob in the same turn. Now I can Sinkhole and open mana, then play Bob, then plus Lily, then plus more other Lily. Feels like my opponent has Snapcaster Mage. Jack, keep in mind that we're at the, like, I've played 7 turns in 1 minute phase, not the, like, let's carefully think through every little, like, thing here. Oh, I'm trying to move to second main. My opponent is pausing. What could my opponent have drawn to beat, like... Oh, I see. So my opponent is just going to, like, keep Jace over anything else here. And now I'll just lose. That's unfortunate. I mean, I can still make them do it. Yeah, now I'll just die to that. Alright. GG. So the good news is we still cashed the league with Pox. So that's the bright side there. I wish I had a little more time to, like, play that last game a little bit more carefully. I still don't know that I could have won that one. Like, the Jace hitting the field that early and them having, like, the force and the blue card to stop it, plus the follow-up. It was just kind of like bad beats all in all. Like, on the previous turn, I could have, like, just, like, played the Liliana of the Last Hope and, like, minused before I played the Liliana of the Veil and plus. But the upside was just, like, so high if I rip a land, and I had a lot of lands left in the deck, so I took a slightly risky line. I think that was one of the big decision points of the game. Alright, so let's do the debrief here. So one of the things I've always thought about Pox is that it's actually very bad at winning the game, and it's very good at not losing the game. So Pox is a deck that is, like, awesome at dragging the game on, but it's relatively poor at actually ending the game. So against some decks that have just, like, powerful top decks or types of permanents that you can't actually interact with very well, I've just always felt that it's very weak. So, like, you don't have any card selections to shuffle away your bad cards in game ones. So, like, there are times where you're going to end up with, like, the Innocent Bloods and Fatal Pushes in your hand that you, like, literally cast for no value. Or, like, you cast and, like, destroy some of your own stuff so you can empty your hand for Cursed Scroll. And there are a lot of cards that get, like, noticeably worse as the game goes on. Like, Inquisition and Hymn are pretty bad once your opponent is Hellbent, that sort of thing. It is a card that can bully certain strategies very well. Like, you know, you're one of the few decks in the format that can play a card like Knight of Soul's Betrayal, which is just absolutely absurd. We won very few games of Magic. Again, most of the time when you're winning with this deck, you are winning by concession rather than anything else. So that's something to keep in mind. Some of the pace of play problems with that last game were definitely on my end, where, like, I'm just not comfortable with what I'm doing playing this deck. And sort of on that note, I have no idea how to sideboard for this deck. You know, without Merja in the chat just kind of, like, walking me through some of this stuff, I would have no idea how to sideboard, because a lot of these cards are not objectively bad, and you kind of have to, like, pick out the cards that are going to be the worst to remove. And sometimes it's really easy, like, oh, they don't have creatures, you know, remove these pushes and these Innocent Bloods. But I think some of the other stuff was a little bit more nuanced, and I really had a hard time telling what I was supposed to do. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this deck. You know, it's a deck that you can take to your local event to make some people hate you. But it's not overly competitive in my mind. And I feel like it just suffers against certain card types. Like, you can't muck with enchantments. You can't really deal with opposing planeswalkers very well. And even as we saw, like something as simple as like removing a shrouded creature can be difficult. Like you do have answers to those, but when when you have the push in hand and your opponent plays mongoose, it feels kind of bad. All right. So Merja, thank you very much for your donation. I really appreciated this. This was a fun evening. I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna be back on Saturday streaming some Tribal Wizard deck of some nature. I got a donation for that, but I haven't actually put together the list yet. So which way do I need to go? I need to go this way to center myself. So I'll be doing that tomorrow at some point. I'll post it on Twitter, get some feedback from you all on what exactly it should look like. If you enjoyed my Legacy content tonight, please follow my channel. I'm looking to grow it and become one of the premier Legacy streamers. And if you're really enjoying what I'm doing and you're around regularly, consider doing something to support my channel, whether that's doing a donation deck list, subscribing to my channel, following, or something else entirely different. So I'm going to go ahead and turn you over to a different Legacy streamer. Let's see who's streaming. Who can I host? I'm going to host my good friend Cyrus. So thank you all. I'm going to host, or actually raid, Cyrus. Have a good evening, and thank you for joining.